Hey guys, what's going on? Adam Snyder here with the Homemade Entrepreneur. So it's just now 5 o'clock in the morning, and I know that for a fact because that's the time my sprinklers come on and I can hear them right now. So I'm up a little early, only because I wanted to get some stuff done. There's a lot of stuff I need to do, not just for my Amazon FBA business, coaching. There's so much stuff I do anyway. The main thing today is I wanted to get to my Amazon FBA business, and the whole reason why I wanted to do that is because I think I've been kind of behind a little bit, only because I've been sending in a lot of stuff. I haven't been doing as much online arbitrage as far as like buying individual products. Now, I have been buying a bunch of stuff through bundles, and the reason is doing bundles is I feel that bundles are a better way to go right now. And I know there's probably a lot of you guys out there that are saying bundles aren't the way to go, they're too much work. They are a lot of work. They're seriously a lot of work, especially if you're creating the bundle yourself, doing the listing, doing the pictures, doing all that stuff, trying to get ranked. That's a whole lot of work. Now if you can piggyback off somebody else's bundle, that changes the game completely. Now to do that, you have to find the bundle. You have to find the bundle, then you have to find the products to make sure those products are actually profitable after you bundle them, send them in, at what point you're going to sell them, what's the ranking, is it worth your time, your effort, and your money. That's the key. So I'm going to tell you a couple tips in just a second on how I'm creating bundles, why I recommend it for Q4 and even beyond, and how you can make a full-time income with bundles alone. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so first thing is, can you make a full-time income? And yes, you can. I've been making a full-time income with bundles probably for maybe a little bit over a year. And now when I say full-time income, I'm talking about if all my other incomes, if everything was just stopped completely except for bundles, could I pay for all my expenses? And yes, I could. And that is something that I only consider something a full-time income if it reaches the X amount of dollars per month. If I can do that, it's a full-time income. That's what I call it. So yes, you can make a full-time income. Now my full-time income is probably different from yours. Mine could be higher, could be lower. It doesn't matter. Just whatever your income is, figure that out. Figure out what you need as far as your expenses. That should be your full-time income. Okay? Moving on. Can you make full-time income? Yes, you can. Now, how do you do it? First thing, find one bundle. All you need to start with is one bundle. Now, I'm not saying go out there, find one bundle and buy 100 and quantity 100 and send it all into Amazon. I'm not saying that, especially if the ranking is, let's say, 200,000 toys. Don't do that. Okay? What I'm saying is find one bundle, get the items, whether you buy them online or you buy them locally, or you get them wholesale, private label, whatever it is. Get that one bundle, get it in, send it to Amazon, and wait for it to sell. Okay, once you start seeing that, once you see that first sale, you must have did something right. You must have found a good bundle. You bought the items, you send it in, it started selling, great. Find the second bundle. Do the exact same process. So this takes probably every single week you'll find one more bundle. Okay, but let's look at this. So at the end of week 4, you have 4 bundles at Amazon. So that technically would be at the end of week 5, but end of week 5 you have 4 different bundles at Amazon. The nice thing about that is bundle 1 selling, bundle 2 is selling, bundle 3, they're all selling. Then at the end of week 5, bundle 4 is there. You got 4 bundles that are all selling. Week 6, you got 5. They're all selling. I don't know how many they're selling per week, but you got 5 different ones selling. What if you had 100 different bundles? 100. Just think about that. Well, let's see. Let's try to do some math in my head. So let's say you got 100. Each bundle that you sell, let's say it costs you $15 to do one bundle. $15 to do one bundle. You're selling 100, so $1,500 is what you spend on all these for just quantity one of each bundle. You have 100, $1,500, and it's gonna make you, let's just say it's gonna make you 50%, so $750. So $750, you're selling 100, $750 every single week, every single week, $750 profit every single week on $150 or $1,500 invested in your products, 50% ROI. Now, end of week one or whatever, after you sell 100 of them, and that's only if you sell quantity one. If one of your bundles was selling 15, the other one was selling 2, the lowest one was maybe selling 1 a week, then your numbers are actually higher. Think about that. Okay? I'm not telling you to go out there and find 100 bundles today. If you can find 100 bundles, you can get them coming in, do it. I highly recommend bundles. Seriously. One of the reasons why I recommend bundles so much, and over individual items, over private label, and even private label, most of my private label items are bundled with another private label item, and that's what gives me an advantage over a lot of the other sellers, because they're only finding that one product. Because I didn't order those same products from the different products from the same company. No, I wasn't gonna make that mistake. I learned that when I was doing bundles, doing Walmart bundles. Buy one item from Walmart, buy another item from Target or Kmart or Sears. Put those two together, because you don't want to find two items the exact same place, because that just makes it easier for somebody else to find that exact same bundle, make it, and push you out. Now they're a competitor. Competition isn't bad, but when dealing with bundles, sometimes it is, because you don't want to have 50 different sellers selling the exact same bundle, because bundles tend to go a little bit slower than individual items. Granted, they don't sell as well. Some do, but most of the time they just don't. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I like not having the competition. I like being able to set my own price. This is how much I paid for it. I want to make X amount of dollars off that bundle, so I'm gonna set my sale price at $30. Whatever. Just come up with some number. It might be a little high to start with. If it is, bring it down a little bit. If it's too low and you're selling it's selling like hotcakes, increase the price. Okay, you adjust the price a little bit in the beginning, because you might be selling it for less than what it's actually worth. So bump it up. If you're selling it for too much, lower it. It's your bundle. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay, so a couple tips for creating bundles. This is something that I learned early on. When you create a bundle, make sure you actually package it correctly. What somebody did now, and I figured this out because somebody left a horrible review on a bundle that I created, and I put a lot of work into that bundle. I actually did some advertising for that bundle itself, and so I think just to get it's a toy bundle. I do mostly toys, but just to get it ranked, I think the first time it dropped under 100,000 in toys, I think I spent about $300 to advertise that. So $300 in advertising dollars on Amazon to get that bundle from no ranking all the way on to 150,000. That started selling really well. So I was a little mad when the person, so it's two toys. They're like smaller toys. They're like plush toys, and the person squeezed them together, and taped them with clear tape. Now I don't know exactly what it looked like. The buyer didn't leave pictures on the review, but they could have. But they left a horrible review. It was a 1-star. Would never buy this item again. The item was terrible. When they peeled the tape off, some of the fuzz or coloring came off, and so it's I don't mind the competition, but do it correctly. So if you're gonna do a bundle, don't tape it. Don't wrap a bunch of tape around your items. Put it in a poly bag, put it in a box, just make it look professional. That's my number one tip, because that's the biggest thing that I have an issue with. Whenever I order something, if it's just thrown in a box, or they don't even put it in a poly bag, they just put a label, just slap it right onto an electronic, I have an issue with that. And I don't see why Amazon even lets people sell like that, but they do. So anyway, that's my number one tip. My number two tip for selling bundles is to do your research. That is something that's so important. I can't stress this enough. Bundle research takes a little bit of time. Okay, that's a lie. It takes quite a bit of time. So to find the correct bundle, to find a bundle that will actually keep selling, it takes a little bit of time. You have to go on Amazon. You gotta look. You gotta make sure the item that is in the bundle is actually for sale on some other website or locally. Because if the item is an old item and it's they change the color, they change the packaging, they change whatever, some feature on it, you can't technically sell that item as part of the bundle because they're not the same item. Okay, do the research, figure out where the item is that you can or find out what the bundle is that you can actually sell. Then find out where you can get those items, how much it's going to cost you, and if it's going to make you any money. Doing a bundle, it does take a little bit more time. That's just the way it is. So, how much should you make off every bundle? Now, for me, I want to make at least $7 for every bundle. Normally, I say if I can spend $3 and I'll make $2, I'll be more than happy to do that. Now, with bundles, it's a little bit different because you got a poly bag, you got the sticker. This is a set. You got, let's say you're gonna do some additional taping. Let's say you're gonna do maybe they're 2 breakable items and you gotta do some bubble wrap. Then you got the time of just putting it all together, putting the two items together, putting them in a poly bag, doing that whole thing, printing out the label. Takes more time. More time means more money. So I don't want you to spend more time and earn the exact same amount. I want you to spend more time, make more money. That's how this business works. So with that, my minimum for a bundle is I want to make at least $7. Recently there's only been one bundle that I've done, and so right now I have about 200 and some bundles. I don't know the exact number, but I remember when I hit 200 I was pretty excited for my own reasons. But you guys probably understand why. But once I hit 200 different bundles, I was very excited. So I know now I'm over 200 bundles. I don't know the exact number though. But once I got to 200, I realized there was one bundle, and it's just recently I started to realize that bundle is still making me money, but it's only making me like $2.80 some cents. It's like $2.82 or something like that, and it varies between like $2.75 and $2.90. But it was it wasn't the very first one. I think it was probably within the first 15 or 20 bundles that I ever did, and I was just excited because there's something very easy to get. There are 2 items you can find at Target. I don't know if you can find them at Walmart. I don't know if you can find those 2. I don't think you can. I know I can't, but you can find one of those items at Walmart, and you can find one at Toys R Us, or you can find them both at Target. And it's something that's been selling for pretty well. It's been selling pretty well for over a year, and so just understand that putting in the time and the effort, you want to make your money. So my minimum is $7. What your minimum is could be $2, it could be $1, it could be $50. It doesn't matter. Decide what your time's worth and how quickly you can do these bundles, and there you go. Okay, so if you guys have any questions on bundles, you can please comment below, or if you just have any advice, any tips, what you've been doing. I love to hear what you guys have been doing, what's been working for you, what hasn't been working for you, and if there's any other videos you want me to shoot. But a lot of people have been asking me about bundles because I haven't talked about them in a while, but I still do them. I'm still very active with bundles. So there you have it. I'm so tired. Like I said, it's probably like 5:10, 5:20 now, and I'm gonna get to work. So talk to you guys soon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Like I said, comment below if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is, or send me a message over on Facebook, facebook.com/homemade entrepreneur, and I'll see you guys on the next video.